Coming up on OU Nightly, this weekend's game has been moved up. Find out why.
And we've got a lot of rainfall on the way, which has prompted the National Weather Service to issue a flood watch. All those details on the forecast coming up.
Need a ride to go vote? How you can get to the polls for free. This is OU Nightly.
Thanks for watching OU Nightly. I'm Darian Curry.
And I'm Savannah Simmons. We begin tonight with some breaking news. Word coming in late this afternoon from OU Athletic Department that tomorrow's football game against Maine will be played at a new time. Kickoff is set for 11 a.m. And that's because there's a serious risk of flash flooding this weekend.
Yeah, and it's time for you to be weather aware. So let's get right over to OU Nightly meteorologist Joel Robinson for a first look at the forecast. Joel?
Yeah, ladies, we have a very active weekend coming up weather-wise. Notice on the map behind me, we do have a flood watch in effect through much of Oklahoma, and that does include Cleveland County as well. That goes until 6 p.m. Monday, so this is an all-weekend kind of a weather threat. And if we look at our futurecast here, let's time out the rain real quick. As we fast forward to 11 a.m. Saturday, that's the new game time. Notice that we do have some showers kind of in view, but we do have the mainland that will be moving in later that afternoon, which has prompted them to move the game time up a little bit. We do have a lot of rain in the forecast. We also have the chance for severe weather through this weekend. And as we get further into this newscast, I'll talk about the excessive rainfall, severe weather chances, and we'll get into our game day forecast as well. Stay tuned for that. Back to you, ladies.
Thanks so much, Joel. The rain should be out of here by Election Day on Tuesday, but there's another issue that could make it hard to vote. OU Nightly Spencer Plato shows us why some may struggle getting to the polls.
Getting to the polls can be difficult for those without a car.
You have spent around $300 this entire semester just on transportation.
Mary Lou Bento is a commuter at OU and shares a car with her roommate. And just like many other students around the nation, Bento plans to vote during the election, but has no transportation.
I'll only get to vote between a certain hours of the day, so I can have a ride, or I would have to pay out of my own pocket to go to my polling place and back to go vote.
For those who are breaking on voting because of transportation, Oklahoma Vote says you're not alone, and there's a solution for you to get out to the polls.
So every mile that you add on to someone's commute to go to a polling space is the less and less likely they're going to actually go to vote at all.
A study from Lyft shows that Oklahomans travel further than other Americans when going to vote, and just 1 mile increments can turn off 20% of voters. Randy Wright with OK Vote says her organization, with support of the university administration, tried to put an early voting location on campus, but the Cleveland County Election Board denied the request because of staffing and financial issues.
Unlike other universities, particularly even other universities within the SEC, we don't have an early polling site. So you can't vote early on that Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, or Saturday as a college student.
For those needing a ride this election day, Lyft and Uber will be offering discounted rides to polling locations on Election Day, and Embark bus services will be free on Election Day. Reporting in Norman, Spencer Plato, OU Nightly.
Thanks, Spencer. A reminder, tomorrow is the last day for early voting in Oklahoma. Polls are open 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. On Tuesday, you can vote from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m.
And now, with only 4 days left till Election Day, both candidates are racing to secure final voters. Emma McAndrews has the headlines from OU Nightly Election Center. Emma?
Donald Trump raged against one of the most prominent intra-party critics while campaigning in Arizona. He stepped up in the violent rhetoric against former Representative Liz Cheney. During the event, he called her very dumb and a moron. Trump also suggested Cheney should be fired upon.
She's a radical war hawk. Let's put her with a rifle standing there with 9 barrels shooting at her, okay? Let's see how she feels about it. You know, when the guns are trained on her face.
And as you can guess, Vice President Harris fired back at Trump with some harsh words of her own during a rally in Nevada today.
This is someone who is increasingly unstable, obsessed with revenge, consumed with grievance, and is out for unchecked power.
Politic insiders say we can expect the war of words to continue as Election Day nears. News both parties can take time to analyze. The October jobs report shows 12,000 jobs added last month. Experts say that may be fewer than expected due to the hurricanes and work stoppages. It does not show the job market is cooling, but not on a complete downfall as inflation settles back down. And the director of U.S. cybersecurity says a new viral video of both Trump and Harris is fake. They say it was produced by a Russian in an effort to undermine U.S. elections. Darian, Savannah.
Thanks, Emma. Texas Governor Greg Abbott has a new question going around hospitals starting Friday.
We'll tell you what this question is and if you're required by law to answer it.
Plus, Atlanta rap star Young Thug was released from jail Thursday night after changing his plea deal.
We'll tell you what his new plea is after the break.
Emma, did you hear?
Todd's in the hospital.
Who's Todd? He got a collapsed lung from vaping. He thought it was cool.
Not cool.
Promise you won't vape, Emma. It can lead to a lifelong addiction, and we can't be friends if your lungs collapse.
Bogus.
Wacky sitcom teens aren't the best people to talk to your kid about vaping.
Hey, you got a minute?
You are. Start the conversation with your child about vaping today.
Hear that? That's the sound of your life. Perfectly imperfect. But every time you drive after drinking, the music gets drowned out. Your life sounds pretty great. Don't let a buzz ruin it. Buzzed driving is drunk driving. Don't drive buzzed.
When we have the food we need, we are at our best. We push further. We rise higher. We unlock our full potential. When we have the food we need, we make our communities stronger. Together, we can help everyone get the food they need to thrive. Join the movement to end hunger at feedingamerica.org/actnow.
Texas hospital patients will now be asked if they're in the U.S. legally starting Friday. The new policy stems from an order by Republican Governor Greg Abbott and continues the state's clash with the Biden administration over immigration. Abbott intends for hospitals to track spending on undocumented patients to try and recover money from the federal government. Critics believe this could scare people away from seeking medical care, even though patients are not required to answer.
And rapper Young Thug was released from custody last night after he was sentenced to time served as a part of a non-negotiated plea agreement. The rapper, whose given name is Jeffrey Williams, will have to serve 15 years on probation. A part of this plea, Williams was charged alongside more than 24 others under Georgia's Racketeer Influence and Corrupt Organizations Act in 2022. This lengthy racketeering trial marks the longest-running criminal case in Georgia history.
And as we head into the weekend, the weather is on our minds.
Yeah, and the OU Nightly weather team is watching it.
Yeah, we have flooding and severe threats going into this weekend. Your full forecast is coming up. Stay with us.
Everyone has a ritual, that small thing that keeps us focused. A habit we never skip to clear our minds and elevate our performance.
But what do you do to keep your head in the game, to drown out the self-doubt and support your mental health? Because being your best isn't just about taking care of your body.
It's about taking care of your mind and mental health. Discover the resources you need to keep your mind focused and your mental health a priority.
Water is our most precious resource and something that should be conserved and used wisely. Here is a water conservation tip you can try. In the bathroom, if your shower can fill a 1-gallon bucket in less than 20 seconds, replace the shower head with a water-efficient one. They are cheap, easy to install, and can save you up to 750 gallons a month. Water is life. This message was brought to you by the City of Norman.
I'm an ex-drug dealer, and I'll be your sub today. Two milligrams of fentanyl can be lethal. A lethal dose is in here. Who gets it, I won't know.
It's cheap, it's potent, and it's profitable.
The sad reality is, fentanyl is being mixed into everything now.
More kids should know.
Welcome back to OU Nightly. I'm OU Nightly meteorologist Joel Robinson with your latest forecast update. We got quite the weekend weather-wise. Let's start things off with our flood alerts. Now, we do have a flood watch in effect through Monday evening, 6 p.m. That does include Cleveland County as well. So if we look at our drought monitor now, we do have extreme to exceptional drought, especially in southwestern Oklahoma and even into southern parts of Oklahoma. We certainly do need the rain, but unfortunately that's going to set the stage for the threat for flooding as we head into the next several days. Futurecast does show that we do have a lot of rain on the way, and that will impact game time as well. We're watching the rain move in Saturday, Sunday, and even to parts of Monday. We do have some pockets of heavier rain possible with this storm moving through, and we'll be done with the rain thankfully by Tuesday, and we're left with clear skies. Along with this heavy rain does come the severe weather chances as well. We'll get into those details in just a second. Future precip does show up to 8 inches of rain will be possible for Norman, 5 inches for McAllister, 6 inches for Ardmore. Now these amounts are not concrete. We do expect maybe some higher amounts under some of those thunderstorms, but we are overall expecting between 6 to 8 inches, possibly even a little bit more under those thunderstorms as well. Daily rain chances, as we break it down, 100% chance of rain for Saturday, 90% for Sunday, and 80% for Monday. And then by Tuesday and Wednesday, the front moves through. All the rain will be out of the way, thankfully. Severe weather does come as well with these rain chances. For Saturday, we do have a marginal risk for severe thunderstorms. That is equivalent to an isolated risk, so only 1 or 2 severe storms will be possible out of all the storms that actually do develop. Sunday, we'll have that better chance for severe storms across much of Oklahoma, and that does include Norman. This is a slight risk issued by the Storm Prediction Center. That's more of a widespread risk for us across Oklahoma. 60 degrees for us tonight. We do have those rain chances that we're watching for tonight and into tomorrow and the next several days. And don't forget to fall back on Sunday. Here's our 7-day forecast. We got temperatures going back into the 70s. As we head through Tuesday, we'll have that cold front move through, and we'll be back into the 60s for Election Day. And we'll have clear skies all the way through, maybe a few clouds in between, but we'll be back into the 60s with fall-like temperatures up ahead.
Yeah, I'm ready to fully bring out the rain jackets for the rest of this, probably until February time, I'm assuming, or even past that. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. Well, it's quite possible. But at least for now, we're just got to get through this rain, and then as we head into the later parts of the week, it'll definitely feel a little bit more like fall out there.
Can't wait for that. Thank you, Joel. Now, today marks day 1 of the 168 Days of Remembrance for the Oklahoma City National Memorial. Thousands gather today in downtown Oklahoma City to mark the countdown at a special event.
April 19, 2025 will mark 30 years since the Alfred Murrah Federal Building was bombed. Today's theme was Be the Light. OU Nightly thanks Memorial staff for inviting our students to take part in the event. And keep watching for updates on tomorrow's rainy game day versus Maine.
There's football and more next on Big Friday Sports.
How do you know when you've made the right decision? It's the feeling you get in your gut. The one that tells you what's right or wrong. It's the one that says, sure, I can have a drink. Or the feeling that says, okay, I've been drinking. Now what? It's the voice inside you that says, I'm buzzed.
better leave the car when it's time to go. Plan ahead. Catch a sober ride. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
Water is our most precious resource and something that should be conserved and used wisely. Here are some water conservation tips you can try. In the kitchen, collect the excess water you use to rinse produce and use it to water houseplants. Also, soak your pots and pans instead of letting the water run while you scrape them. Water is life. This message was brought to you by the City of Norman. Did you know that trash, like plastic bottles and fast food wrappers, can carry germs and bacteria? When these items are tossed in the street, they eventually find their way to a river or lake and have a negative impact on aquatic life. Keep our waters clean by putting your trash in the bin. For more information, visit bit.ly/Norman Stormwater.
Welcome back to OU Nightly. It's time for Big Friday Sports. I'm Emily LeBeth.
And I'm Cam Williams. OU Nightly sports reporter Hallie McPherson is live from outside Memorial Stadium with more on tomorrow's game.
Memorial Stadium, where OU will face Maine tomorrow. As we mentioned earlier, the game time has been changed to 11 a.m. due to severe weather, but the show must go on. And this is how the Sooners are feeling about their losing streak.
At the end of the day, the losing 3 straight really sucks. It stinks. There's no way to try to defend it, but we always got to have the perspective and what was good, what was bad, and what do we need to get better at, what was the opponent, and what was Oklahoma.
What's in the past is in the past. We got to move on, and if we're going to let last week and the week before or the weeks before that define what we can do this week, then we might as well just forfeit all the rest of the games.
Just come in and keep on putting in that work, put your head down. We ain't really got anything to look up for, so, just keep your head down, keep pushing, keep grinding out. We gonna get what we want. We just got to keep on working.
Really just sticking together, keeping our head down, focus on the positives and not the negatives, because the negatives are always going to come no matter what. And, the ball ain't rolling our way right now, but we got to keep going, because if we focus on the negatives, it's just going to keep getting worse. So.
Even though this is a non-conference game, this game can help determine whether the Sooners will make a bowl game. Needing 2 more wins and a tough schedule ahead of them, the chances are looking slim. Back to you, Cam.
Thanks, Hallie. No SEC game, like you said, for OU tomorrow, but there are plenty of conference matchups. Tennessee has all the momentum this week for their game against Kentucky, coming off a bye and a win over Alabama. Texas A&M, the team on top of the SEC and undefeated in the conference, will take on South Carolina in Columbia, and Georgia hosts rival Florida in the world's largest outdoor cocktail party. The Bulldogs have won by double digits the past 4 years.
And the 405 is notorious for producing numerous college athletes and high-level NFL talent. OU Nightly sports reporter Andrew West traveled to Carl Alba High School to see the next phenoms out of Midwest City.
Carl Albert, home of the reigning 2-time state champions and 3 future Sooners, Trenae Washington, Marcus James, and Tristan Haynes, a trio with a bond stronger than a Titan.
My relationship with them is really good. I've known Trenae since we were little kids. We went to the same elementary school. And then Marcus transferring over from Bishop, we've really grown a good bond, going to games at OU and stuff like that.
The 3 won't be alone in Norman as they meet up with 2 former teammates, a unique scenario valuable to Marcus James.
Going in campus, going in my freshman year, knowing people I've already played football with and grew up with will definitely already give me that connection and sense of comfort since I've already played with them and built that relationship, so we can just further that relationship.
If being friends and teammates isn't enough to show their strong bond, they still all have one trait in common that you just can't teach: OU DNA.
They always talk about Texas and Florida schools and stuff like that, and I just feel like being from Oklahoma, I really want to represent Oklahoma. They recruited a lot of Oklahoma kids this year, so I feel like just having a lot of Oklahoma kids going out and competing against other states, I think it's going to be good for us.
It's not very often OU gets 3 guys from the same high school in the same recruiting class. Well, these guys are excited to do it for the Sooners. It doesn't eliminate the task at hand, winning a 3rd straight state championship for Carl Albert.
It shows the work the coaches put in as well, and to look back on it, it's just been good memories back. That feeling of winning that gold ball. That's the standard here. There's state championships everywhere.
A 3rd straight state title would be the 8th in the last 9 years for the Titans. Reporting from Carl Albert High School, Andrew West, OU Nightly.
Thanks, Andrew. Heading west from Carl Albert across Oklahoma City, we have some more high school football coverage. OU Nightly sports reporter Hunter Cornejo has the recap of one game under the Thursday night lights.
Welcome back to the Huddle with Hunter. This week we highlight a 6A2 district matchup between the Capitol Hill Red Wolves and the Ponca City Wildcats. Both teams enter the game searching for their second win of the season. Here is Capitol Hill senior lineman Angel Barraza, who set a school record for games played in. First offensive drive of the game, the Wildcats running back Avon Hobbs capped off the drive with a touchdown. Red Wolves quarterback Michael Hunt tried to take a deep shot, but was picked off by a Wildcats defensive back, Adriel Miller, who nearly took it all the way to the house before he was tripped up inside the 10. First play after the turnover, Avon Hobbs runs into the end zone untouched. Still in the first quarter here, Cortez Roland Barton takes a jet sweep and walks in for a 21-point lead. The Wildcats offensive line continued to put on a clinic here as Lance Arbona adds to the lead. Then Wildcats sophomore quarterback Johnston Berg kept this read option to go up 35 points before the half. The Wildcats band would continue to play their fight song all night long. Ponca City would improve to 2-7, defeating Capitol Hill 47-6. Next week marks the final week of the regular season before the OSSAA playoffs. Cam, Emily.
Thanks, Hunter. A former Sooner showed out on the gridiron. Hear about his performance next, along with a preview of some Sooner pros taking the court.
And a deeper look on how OU's grounds crew gets ready for a game day after the break.
There are a lot of temptations facing young people today, like electronic cigarettes and skateboarding. Each vape pod can contain the same amount of nicotine as a pack of cigarettes. This can lead today's youth to a lifelong addiction and severe lung damage. Recall and consider the facts before making a poor decision.
The health class film guy isn't the best person to talk to your kid about vaping.
Got a few minutes?
You are. Start the conversation with your child about vaping today.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move, so I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day, I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
We said we'd never break the 3-second rule. Never do that. And never become a minivan mom.
Hey, Chris.
As parents, we say never a lot, but never happens. So when you say you'd never leave your child in a hot car, know it can happen. Before you leave the car, always stop, look, lock.
Welcome back to OU Nightly. As I mentioned before, we are expecting a very active weekend. Here's a look at our Futurecast one more time. This is our new game time, Saturday at 11 a.m. We're starting to see a line of storms make its way into the area. The main line will head through the area as we head into the early afternoon hours. It should be out of here as we head into Sunday, but we're expecting a very wet game, so make sure to stay dry, enjoy the game, and Boomer Sooner. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Joel. Speaking of rain and bad weather, the OU grounds crew might have a tough time preparing for tomorrow's game versus Maine. OU Nightly sports reporter Abby Williams has more.
When fans enter the stadium every Saturday, they see a fresh field, perfectly painted, and grass cut with precision. But it doesn't happen overnight.
We start on Monday where we put out stencils where we lay out all of our logos, and then we go through and dot them. And then on Tuesday we do all the white paint. Wednesday we do all the red paints, repeat. Thursday do white and Friday do red, on top of painting practice fields for practice and taking care of all the other facilities.
Tanner Miller started on the grounds crew as a student, and now he leads the operation as OU's Director of Athletic Grounds.
I think it goes beyond just the grounds crew. It's all sorts of internal operations people. Like we're here really early, we're here really late. It takes a lot of effort from a bunch of different departments to make this happen. And I think people don't recognize how many extra hours are put into it besides just that Saturday.
But to Miller, it's not about the product as much as the process.
The main goal is to have a safe environment for our student athletes to play. You know, we want it to be safe, we want it to be in regulation, and by God, if we can make it look good at the same time, we want to make it look good. But I think putting out a product that the university can be proud of and that we're proud of, and knowing that that place is safe and it's going to play just perfectly, that's the favorite part about it.
So when fans see the vibrant red end zones and beautifully painted yard lines every game day, know it takes a team to make it happen. Reporting from Owen Field, Abby Williams, OU Nightly.
Thanks, Abby. The Texans faced the Jets last night for Thursday night football. Former Sooner running back Joe Mixon was responsible for Houston's only touchdown. He went on to have 106 yards on the ground against New York, his 4th straight game, rushing for over 100 yards and a touchdown. The Texans allow 2 TDs in the 4th. They lose 21-13.
And a couple of Sooners step on the hardwood tonight as Austin Reeves and the Los Angeles Lakers take on the 1-4 Toronto Raptors at 6:30 p.m. on the road. And Trae Young, who's averaging 28 and 11, looks to lead his young Atlanta Hawks squad at home versus the Sacramento Kings starting at 6:30 p.m.
And it's a battle of the Gassos on Love's Field tonight as OU softball takes on Mid-America Christian University for the first time ever. And Patty Gasso faces her husband Jim Gasso, MacU's head coach. The Sooners have dominated their fall slate so far, shutting out all of their opponents. They close out that schedule tonight at 6:30.
And Sooner Baseball starts their annual Fall World Series tonight at 5 p.m. The exhibition will feature the team split into 2 rosters as the 2025 Sooners return all Big 12 performers Scott Medler, Jackson Willits, and Kyson Witherspoon. This is the first of 3 exhibitions, and the last one is on November 6th.
In OU men's tennis, sending 2 Sooners to SMU for the Ralston Neufeld Coaches Challenge. Freshman Wojtek Petter and sophomore Asahi Harazaki will compete in both doubles and singles Friday through Sunday.
And OU women's tennis travels to Fort Worth this weekend to play in the J Foundation Invitational. The 4-day event hosted by TCU will feature 18 different teams over the course of the weekend.
OU cross country wrapped up the SEC cross country championships this morning. The men placed 9th in the 8K. The women took 12th in the 6K. Freshman Leah Gerudo and Tobias Chariot led the way with top 10 finishes and all SEC second team honors. In OU football, they take on Maine tomorrow. Not an SEC game, so it's going to be hopefully or probably a win for the Sooners. And I'm taking Javante Barnes as my MVP. He had a really great game against Ole Miss. What about you, Cam?
I'm going to go on the defensive side of the ball. Give me defensive lineman R. Mason Thomas. I think he leads this defensive line into a W.
Yeah, R. Mason, he didn't show out a lot against Ole Miss. It was really Danny Stutzman that really showed in that game. But Jackson Arnold, he might have an easy game for this. But thanks for watching Big Friday Sports. I'm Emily LeBeth.
And I'm Cam Williams. Have a fun and safe weekend.
Hate is loud. It gets clicks. It gets attention. Hate, however, is actually quite small. But love is the majority. Love fills our hearts, our lives, our every day.